From the first trailer, a lot of people were concerned about this movie. As time went on and more footage was released, tensions seemed to ease a bit. The hype machine was behind this film in full force, and the Sony-produced, in association with Marvel, Venom is finally here. Was everyone correct to be so apprehensive about it, or did the movie surprise most of the skeptics with its quality? The answer isn't as clear-cut as you might think. Let's get into it. Right from the start, Venom seems pretty off. The narrative surrounding Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock is sort of muddled at the beginning of the film. Eddie's comic origins are that of an antagonist who later follows a twisted form of justice, so I can see why it was difficult to start from here with Eddie as the main character and toe the line of sympathy, but not too much sympathy. Separating Venom's origin from Spider-Man completely is not what I or any fan wanted to see. We want a mostly faithful adaptation of the Black Suit Saga that turns into the Eddie Brock Venom stuff. It's such a great and simple story. Plus, it's well known by Spider-Man fans old and new. Unfortunately, Sony will do what Sony wants with the characters they own the screen rights to, and even though they threw us a bone by putting Spider-Man in the MCU, they likely won't be letting go of these properties anytime soon. Anyway, as the movie goes on and Eddie bonds with Venom, we are treated to by far the best scenes of the film. That's where Venom excels. The relationship between Eddie and Venom is intense, frightening, and surprisingly funny and endearing. We can see why Eddie tolerates Venom and why he might be shattered if he was separated from him down the road. While that relationship works and thrives on screen, the rest of the film does not. Besides Hardy's baddie performance, the rest of the cast is pretty forgettable. Michelle Williams, Jenny Slate, and Reed Scott are all pretty much non-factors. Also, Ron Cephas-Jones has a few scenes in here as Eddie's boss. If the reports are true and Sony wants Venom to be a part of the MCU, Bobby Fish from Luke Cage is going to have a twin brother out there. Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake never works as the villain. He's not a bad actor and not even bad in the film, but this type of character just doesn't fit him well. You can see by the writing what they were aiming for, and I just don't think Ahmed was it. And I'm saying that with not much knowledge of the comic book version of the character. Drake just ends up being another generic bad guy that has been done to death over the past decade. The writing in general was another issue. While again, the back and forth with Eddie and Venom worked, most of the other dialogue is filled with awkward sayings and forced conversation. Some of the actors make it work, but it was definitely something I took notice of. The action scenes don't do much to stand out from the standard CG-heavy comic book movie battles, but there were several moments that did catch my eye as something unique. Just watching Venom proper in action is fun, and I enjoyed seeing the character done some justice on the big screen, at least aesthetically. Another problem I've seen fans discuss is the lack of an R rating. There are some scenes that were pretty gruesome in this that an R rating would have obviously went further with. While it may have made more sense to keep the edge, it wouldn't have made the movie better. This isn't like Deadpool where the whole premise is based on how crude the character is. Oh. As for the future of this version of Venom, unless it makes way more than expected this weekend, I can't see a sequel happening, much less Venom joining the MCU. While they set up for a sequel and an unintentionally hilarious mid-credit scene, I think where the character goes from here is far from certain. The best I can see is maybe using Venom like the MCU's Hulk. He can pop up in other movies as a side character or villain with varying sized roles. That way, it might be easier to integrate him into the MCU. Less is more. I think people will like Eddie and Venom in this, so maybe that's all that will continue on in any fashion. What did you think of Venom? Should there be a sequel, or should Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock show up in another film? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be back here on the Awesome Walter YouTube channel really soon with a brand new video. Until then, subscribe for more reviews and much more content. I'll see you guys next time.